You ever sat across from a girl, maybe at dinner, or maybe it's just the two of you on the couch? It's quiet. She's smiling. You're holding her hand, but deep down, you feel it. That weird, sinking feeling. Like something's missing, like you're reaching for her, but she's just slightly out of reach. You crack a joke. She laughs, but it's light. Kinda empty. She compliments you, but her eyes don't lock with yours for long. She shows up, but not fully. She's there, but something about it don't feel right. And you sit there wondering, what am I doing wrong? You gave her time, you gave her effort, you gave her everything she asked for, and still she's holding back. Ever been there? Feels like trying to catch water with your hands. No matter how tight you squeeze, it slips right through. She's nice, she's kind, she says all the right things, but you can tell she's playing it safe, and that hits hard. Because deep inside, every man wants to be chosen with fire, with certainty, with no second guessing. You want to be the one she thinks about when she wakes up, the one she craves, the one who makes her heart beat faster, not the one she settles for when things are slow, but instead, you get half effort, half love, half truth. She's not all in. She's careful. And here's the tough truth. When a woman plays it safe, it means she doesn't feel safe falling for you. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not in the way that makes her surrender into your energy. She doesn't see a man who's rooted, calm, centered in his purpose. She sees a man who's trying too hard, trying to impress, trying to earn, trying to deserve her attention. But let's slow this down for a sec. Have you ever noticed that the men women chase, the ones they can't stop thinking about, they aren't the loudest, they aren't the richest, they aren't even the best looking all the time. So, what is it? It's not the flowers, it's not the texts, it's not the compliments. It's the energy. It's the calm certainty in his presence. It's the stillness in his eyes. It's the unbothered nature of a man who doesn't need anyone, but is open to everything. It's that deep inner stability that makes her nervous, curious, drawn, addicted, because it's rare. And rare things, they carry power. And here's where 99% of guys go wrong. They believe effort, love, that the more they show they care, the more she'll care back. That if they just prove how different they are, she'll finally see it. So they double text, they plan cute dates, they compliment every hour, and slowly, painfully they watch her grow colder, slower, less present. But why? Why does giving more lead to losing more? It's because she never had to earn your presence. She never had to feel your absence. You were always there, emotionally available, quick to fix, quick to comfort, quick to chase. And so she placed you in the safest box of all, the man I respect, but don't desire. Now pause. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be kind. That doesn't mean you shouldn't care. It means that when your energy becomes predictable, always available, always giving, it loses mystery. It loses power. It loses magnetism. Because women, especially deep, feminine women, don't fall for what's given easily. They fall for what feels earned, real, alive. Now listen, I'm not saying play games. This isn't about pulling back or withholding love. That's childish. What I'm saying is this: when a man starts prioritizing his life, when he stops needing attention to feel whole, when he fills his days with purpose, movement, silence, creation, he naturally becomes less available, not as a tactic, but as a byproduct of living fully. And that's when something magical happens. His absence becomes more powerful than his presence. Women start to notice the gap. They wonder where you are. They think about what you're doing. They feel the shift. And it hits different. Not because you pulled back, but because you grew inward. You expanded your world, and now she has to come to you, not because you beg, but because you're no longer trying to be the center of her life. You've become the center of your own. And that energy? That's what women crave, even if they don't say it. It's not arrogance, it's quiet power. So let me ask you, brother, have you been chasing love, or creating space for love to chase you? Have you been giving endlessly, or building something so powerful that she naturally wants to be part of it? The safest place to be is in your own purpose. Let her see you there. Let her feel your absence when you're doing your thing. Let her lean in, because your energy is no longer screaming for her approval, and suddenly, she's no longer playing it safe. She's playing for you. She can't love a man who has nothing bigger than her. Let me tell you something strange. The moment a woman feels she's the most exciting thing in your life, she loses a little respect for you. Sounds backwards, right? I mean, you're doing your best. You make time, you make her laugh. You're present, you listen, you care. But inside her, something quietly fades. It's like her soul whispers, "Why doesn't he have anything else?" See, women may say they want attention, but what they really want is to feel like they're invited into a world that's already full, not one that's built just for them. The difference? It's everything. If your entire mood depends on her text, if your whole day lights up just because she smiled at you, if your future feels blurry unless she's in it, then you've already made her your sun, and she didn't want that weight. Here's the hard truth. A woman doesn't want to be your everything. She wants to be something special in a life that's already rich with purpose. She wants to step into a rhythm. She wants to sync with a man's flow, not become his entire identity. You know those guys who always say, "I'd do anything for her." Sounds sweet, sounds romantic, but to her, it sounds heavy. It sounds like dependence. And the feminine doesn't fall in love with that. She falls in love with freedom. Freedom wrapped in discipline. Freedom powered by a man who's going somewhere, with or without her. That's what sparks her desire. It's not about being mean, it's not about acting cold, it's not about shutting off your heart, it's about remembering that the fire inside you came long before she ever walked in. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you got so lost in your purpose that you forgot to check your phone? When's the last time you spent hours creating something, not to impress anyone, but because it just made you feel alive? That's the man she watches from across the room with wide eyes. That's the energy that makes her heart whisper, "I need to be near him." Not because he begged, but because he was already whole. Look, a man without purpose is a man who's easily shaken. A compliment lifts him. A delay destroys him. He's like a boat without an anchor, tossed around by her every mood. But a man with purpose, he's steady, grounded. Not because he's stubborn, but because he knows where he's going. That's the man she respects. That's the man she doesn't play games with. That's the man who doesn't need to get her because he's too busy becoming something unstoppable. Let me tell you a quick story. There was a guy I knew. Quiet dude. Not flashy. Not loud. He wasn't always texting girls. He didn't go to every party. But man, he had fire in his eyes. Always building something. He loved photography. Got lost in it for hours. Girls, they noticed him, they whispered about him. They watched him walk past, headphones in, focused, not chasing anyone. And when he did finally speak to a girl, she leaned in, she listened, she wanted to know everything. Why? Because he wasn't waiting for her. He wasn't looking for her. He was just living. That, right there, is power. Because when a woman senses you are deeply in love with your own life, when she sees that your mission is not her but something bigger, she starts to wonder where she fits in. She starts chasing your energy. And here's the magic. When you love your life more than her, she falls in love with you more deeply than you ever imagined. You stop chasing love, and you start attracting it, like gravity. So let me ask you, if she left tomorrow, would your life fall apart or finally begin? If that question stings a little, good. The man who feels, but doesn't flinch. Let me tell you what makes a woman feel safe. It's not your sweet words. It's not the flowers. It's not even the way you hold her hand. It's the way you handle your own storm. Your storm. Your emotions. Your anger. Your heartbreak. Your fear when she pulls away. Your frustration when she goes quiet. Your panic when things start to slip. You think she can't feel that? She can feel everything. A woman doesn't just listen to what you say. She reads your energy, like radar. And if your emotional world is shaky, she senses it. She may not say it, but deep down, she knows she can't lean on you. Because the moment she pulls away, you crumble. You chase. You break your own frame. You give her power, not from strength, but from fear. And once that happens, the dynamic changes forever. But here's what most men get wrong. They think being strong means being numb, silent, cold, stoic on the outside, dead on the inside. Nah, brother, that ain't it. Real strength is when you feel everything and still choose calm. When your heart races, but your hands stay steady. When your chest burns, but your voice stays low. When your ego screams, but you don't act out. That's the kind of man she respects. That's the kind of presence that makes her feel finally she's with someone who won't break when life gets heavy. Because it will get heavy. Every relationship goes through pressure. Every woman will test your center, not because she wants to break you, but because she wants to see if you'll break yourself. Let me be real with you. She'll get emotional, she'll throw jabs, she'll cry, she'll accuse, she'll distance herself for no reason. Not because she's cruel, but because she's scared. And when women feel unsafe, they test for safety. And what she's looking for is not perfection, not control, but calm. She wants to know that when she's losing it, you're not. That when things get messy, you don't run. That when she gets emotional, you don't match her storm. You absorb it, you ground it, you hold space. That is rare. And it doesn't come from pretending. It comes from doing the inner work. From facing your own demons, from sitting with discomfort, from breathing through anger instead of acting on it. It comes from having rules for yourself. You think women love bad boys because they're jerks. No, it's because those guys don't bend over backwards for approval. They hold frame. They don't beg. But imagine that same frame without the ego, without the cruelty, without the game. Imagine a man who leads with calm, listens without trying to fix, speaks with presence, not pressure. That's next level. That's king energy. But it starts with this. Stop trying to be emotionally perfect. Start becoming emotionally powerful. When you feel that panic rise, pause. When jealousy hits, observe it. When fear creeps in, breathe through it. Don't react, just sit. This is how men sharpen presence. Because your reactions, they create her reality. If every time she gets distant, You get desperate. She learns she controls your center. But if every time she pulls back, you stay rooted, she learns she's dealing with a man who's already whole, not cold, not careless, just unshakable. That's attractive. That's magnetic. That's what stops her from playing it safe, because suddenly she realizes she doesn't have to protect herself anymore. You're already protecting the space between you. Why she wants what feels rare. Here's a strange truth no one talks about. You were more attractive when you were less available. Think about it. Back when you were busy living your life, focused on your work, chilling with the boys, sleeping good, eating better, laughing harder. You weren't sitting around waiting for her text. You weren't obsessing over what she meant by haha. You weren't overthinking your next move. You were just doing. And guess what? That's when she chased more. That's when her replies were faster. That's when she seemed into you. But the moment she became your center, things shifted. You made time. You started rearranging your schedule. You started showing up just in case she wanted to hang. And slowly, she stopped. Why? Because something changed in your energy. You became abundant to her. Not in a good way, not in the abundance mindset way, but in the way a store gives out free samples nobody values. You became predictable, available, constant. And women, they don't value constant, they value quality wrapped in rarity. Now hear me out. This is not about playing hard to get. It's not about ignoring her. It's not about pretending to be busy when you're not. It's deeper than that. It's about becoming a man whose time is expensive, not because you're arrogant, not because you're a jerk, but because your time is actually filled with value. You've got goals, you've got plans, you've got rituals, you've got things that grow your life with or without her. And when she senses that, when she sees that your attention isn't given freely, but only where it's earned, it shifts her brain. She starts leaning in. She starts wondering. She starts chasing that presence because it's no longer guaranteed. See, most men are like vending machines. You press the button and out comes the compliment. You send a flirty text and boom, he's all in. No challenge, no standard, just instant access. But high-value men? They're like rare art. You can't just stumble upon them. You don't get 24/7 access. And when you do get a piece of them, you value it. So here's the Stoic truth. The man who gives himself to everyone becomes invisible. The man who protects his energy becomes unforgettable. Not because he's hiding, but because his life is already full. And every moment he shares, it's a gift, not a given. Let me ask you something. What if you started treating your time like gold? What if your attention was something that had to be earned, not expected? What if you didn't just say yes every time she hit you up, but paused, checked in with yourself and asked, is this aligned with my mission today? That changes everything. Because women don't fall for men who are available. They fall for men who are present when they show up, but gone when it's time to move. You know what really creates desire? Space. Space for mystery, space for imagination, space for her to miss you. When you're always around, there's no hunger. When your energy is always free, there's no chase. But when you move like a man on a mission, when your calendar isn't built around her moods, when your mind is focused on something higher than just romance, she begins to wonder, where is he? What's he doing? Who's getting that attention now? And just like that, you're not safe anymore. You're not convenient. You're rare. And rare things? They get pursued. So don't just say you're high value. Live like it. And value starts here. Are your mornings? Protect them. Then, your attention. Don't hand it out for free. Your silence. Make her earn the sound of your voice. your presence. Don't waste it where it's not reciprocated. Be less, but be more. Less available, more intentional, less eager, more grounded. And suddenly, she's not sure she can keep you. And that feeling, that's what makes her want to. So I'll ask you, what would your life look like if your time became your most sacred currency? Why she respects what she can't control. You ever notice something? The more available you are, the more she pulls away. It's weird. You answer fast. You show up early. You adjust your whole day just to make her happy, and somehow she seems less impressed, less interested, less respectful. And you're left sitting there wondering, wait, wasn't I being a good man? You were. But here's the thing she'll never say out loud. Women don't fall in love with men they can control. Let that sink in. Not manipulate. Not command. I'm talking subtle control. The kind that happens when she knows your next move before you do. When she can push and you bend. When she threatens to leave and you beg her to stay. When she pulls her energy back and you rush to fill the space. That's the slow death of attraction. Not because she's cruel, not because she doesn't like you, but because she senses something deep in her nervous system. This man doesn't lead his life, he just reacts to mine. And women, they don't trust what they can lead, they trust what they can follow. That trust comes from boundaries, not the kind you yell, not the kind you post online, not some alpha male speech about your standards. I'm talking silent boundaries, unspoken, rooted, unshakable. She feels them. She knows when she's stepping too close, because your energy shifts, not in anger, but in calm refusal. That's power. Let me give you an example. Let's say she's testing you. Maybe she says something slick. Maybe she's being disrespectful, just a little, poking, pushing, seeing what you'll do. Most guys, they laugh it off, try to stay chill, or they explode snapping back, calling her out. But the man with silent strength, he pauses, he leans back, he doesn't flinch, but his eyes say everything. This isn't how you talk to me. And guess what? She feels it, in her gut, in her body, in her breath. Suddenly, she pulls back. She corrects herself. She remembers, you're not the guy she gets to play with. No yelling, no lecture, no drama, just quiet power. This is what most men miss. They think being nice means accepting everything, that love means tolerating disrespect. That softness is what makes a woman stay. Nah, soft men get walked on. Strong men set the tone with their energy. And guess what? You don't have to explain your boundaries. She's already reading them every time you show up. Your time, your posture, your tone, your eyes when she crosses a line. She knows. Women are masters at testing presence. And if you don't hold it, they drift. Because deep down they're looking for a man who doesn't fold. You think she respects the guy who sends 10 texts in a row? Who cancels plans just to see her? Who forgives everything just to keep the peace? No, she respects the man who doesn't chase peace. He is the peace. He brings order. He brings clarity. He brings boundaries so clean, so calm, that she wants to rise to meet them. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you said no, without guilt? When was the last time you walked away, not in anger, but in full control of your value? When was the last time you chose silence, instead of over-explaining your worth? That's the real test. And that's what shifts her from safe zone to respect mode. She stops playing games. She stops testing. She starts tuning into your vibe. Because now she knows there are rules here. Not her rules, your rules, your rules. And if she can't meet them, you won't beg. You won't explain. You'll just keep walking with your calm, rare energy intact. So let me leave you with this. If she never feels your boundaries, how will she ever respect your presence? Want to know how to build that silent strength, so deep that even when you say nothing, your energy still speaks? The trap of being needed and why it kills her desire. You ever had a girl lean on you for everything? She calls when she's sad. She texts when she's bored. She vents, complains, cries, and you're always there, always listening, always ready, always her shoulder. And at first you think, this is good, right? She needs me. But slowly, things shift. She opens up to you, but stops looking at you like a man. She trusts you, but stops chasing you. She tells you her secrets, but stops touching you the same. And one day you wake up and realize she's closer than ever, but further than you've ever felt. What happened? You became useful, not powerful, not magnetic, just convenient. She started to need you, but not want you. And there's a difference. Needing is survival. Wanting is desire. And when a woman only needs you, the spark dies. Let me break it down. When you become the man who always fixes, who always listens, who always says yes, who always gets it, you stop being her challenge. You stop being her edge. You become her soft landing, but not her fire. And here's the twist. Women don't fall for their therapist. They trust him. They thank him. But they don't crave him. Because craving comes from a different place. It comes from uncertainty, from a little tension, from mystery, from energy she can't quite figure out. But when you show up for every little emotional dip, when you drop your plans just to soothe her pain, when your whole role becomes comfort, she files you under the category that kills attraction. He's safe. And once you're there, game over. Now let me be clear. This ain't about being cold. This ain't about ignoring her pain. This ain't about playing hard and cruel. This is about balance. About understanding this simple truth. You are not her emotional support animal. You are a man. You have energy, direction, depth. You are her equal, not her escape. And the moment you start showing up like a savior, she subconsciously sees you as someone below her level, someone who exists to make her feel okay. That's not sexy. That's safe. That's soft. That's forgettable. But the man she wants, he's not always available. He's not always checking in. He's not trying to manage her moods like a babysitter. He listens when it's real. He supports when it's earned. He's present, but not possessed by her emotions. She doesn't get to offload all her weight on him, because he's carrying his own mission, his own load, his own path. That's the man she respects. That's the man she desires. That's the man she chases, because he's not stuck trying to fix her. He's just living with so much purpose. She wants to feel what he feels. Let me ask you something heavy. Have you been trying to be her man or her medicine? Because if all you do is show up when she's sad, if all your value is tied to solving her emotions, you'll wake up one day with a girl who confides in you but no longer craves you. And that's a slow death. So here's what you do. Stop chasing emotional points. Stop trying to be her solution. Let her carry some of her own chaos. Don't rush to be there every time. Give space. Let her wonder. Let her reach. And if she doesn't, cool, that's her story. But you stay in your lane. You stay rooted in a mission so alive you don't need her dependence to feel valuable. Because when a man is powerful on his own, he attracts women who want him, not women who use him to survive. So I'll leave you with this. Are you the man she leans on out of comfort, or the one she leans into out of desire?